Ooh, Chinchy coming in hot with this one, man. It's going to be a great one today, brother.
Dude, super hot. I'm reading everywhere. It's Christmas in Cincinnati, Ohio right now. I did not realize how huge of a day this is. And we have you and your boy here who are two maybe the most popular players in the last 20 years of that sport.
Dude, in Cincinnati, it's one of the biggest days ever. And Adam Dunn, who was our first guest ever on the mayor's office as we enter 800 plus episodes, was incredible. The first guest ever. We brought him back. And the reason we brought him back is not only because he's one of my best friends in the world, but because also, too, one of the greatest opening day hitters of all time. He wouldn't say that, but I'm going to say it for him. 8 home runs opening day, 21 RBIs, tied with Frank Robinson and Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know. Those are two pretty good players. So let's bring him in. Dunner, what's up, dude?
How we doing, fellas?
Good, man. What's going on?
Big day today. Big day.
Big day. Big day. You locked into opening day, and you're gonna be locked in front of your TV, watching all the games.
I am. I'm right now watching Will Howard's national championship game. He was 17-21 for 231 and 2. Got a good national championship.
Football's still your number one love, isn't it?
I mean, I like them all, man. Don't sit here and we're trying to have fun, not cause controversy.
That's not controversy. With Dunner, I want to say before we get going, it was incredible, bro. Like when we would get the football out there, like pregame, and like Chinch, you go run route, and then like someone would throw you the ball. It was the good backyard football player, but then Dunner would throw you the football because obviously he went to Texas as a quarterback, bro. Yeah. It was actually dangerous. I was like, I've never seen a ball spin like that. It like spins so different. I'm like, all right, it's good. He threw me one. I was like, that's good, bro. I'll see you next time. If you want to play catch with a baseball, I'm in. But dude, it is true though, right? I mean, as far as like throwing a baseball, but throwing a football, you watch Paul Skeens doing it. Nolan Ryan did it. I mean, all these guys trying to, get their arms stronger. Like, do you agree with that? Like throwing a football helps you with that?
100%. Like, I don't know shit about all the mechanics and biomechanics and blah, 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 all that stuff. But what I do know is my arm never hurt when I was throwing a football all year long. And then, when you get yelled at for throwing a football, all of a sudden, you start getting shoulder hurt and this and that. But, never hurt, man.
Yeah.
Plus, it's cool.
It's incredible, man. It's incredible. Dude, I want to go back to your memories of opening day because it is incredible. Dude, one thing I knew when Dunner came into opening day, something was going to happen. I go back to that 2005 opening day when Pedro started for the Mets. It was a great day, but you came out and you balled. 2 bombs, 5 ribbies. It just felt like for you, Dunner, when the lights were brightest, you were at your best. What are some of your opening day memories and take us back to maybe that 05 game?
Okay. Kind of my whole thing was always, for spring training, I never really, I never hit before I got to spring training. Because I knew I had 6 weeks to get ready for opening day. Some people are different. Some people, want to come in, rock and roll and ready to roll. I was trying to get ready for opening day, and I knew opening day was, in Cincinnati and the places that I played were great places. The problem is they would sell out opening day and maybe 1 or 2 other times in the year, right? So I mean, it's not. It is what it is. It was just opening day is so special, especially in Cincinnati. I mean, that was the extra motivation, the extra. That's a bad word. It was just I really enjoyed opening day because I knew we were always the first game played. Yep. We were always going to have a packed house, and if you couldn't get ready to show off then, it'd never happen.
Yeah. What about opening day? Like for all the fans out there that have never experienced an open day in Cincinnati, like what was special about that for you personally?
I was on with Timmy Kirchin the other day talking about this. Not name dropping, just telling you.
Yeah, you are. You're name dropping.
No, anyway, I can't imagine a World Series parade in Cincinnati. Just by the way they do just opening day every year. I mean, opening day every year, it is literally the coolest thing. It was really cool, because we were the first game, the parade, and then, if we were fortunate to win and then go out that night, it was really, really cool. But I can't, like I said, I can't imagine how big that city would do it. if and when they win a World Series.
Have they ever asked you to be the grand marshal to that?
No.
Dude, they will.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it is, dude. What, are you kidding me? You're a Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer. You're one of the greatest players to ever wear that uniform. They're going to ask you one of these days, dude, and you have to do it. I did it a couple years ago. It was one of the coolest things ever. And Dunner, I didn't appreciate, like, we got to see the guys, the fans in the stadium. Yeah. Dude, when you're the grand marshal of that parade and you come down in one of those cars, there are so many people in Cincinnati lining those streets. I can't, like you said, I can't imagine what it would have been like winning a World Series title, because for opening day, man, they are all out there in droves, kids. I mean, it's a national holiday. I feel like yeah, there it is right there. That was the square. That was the square, dude. It was incredible. And Dunner, now that they have the hotels there and all that stuff, when we weren't there, I mean, it's packed. You can't even move. Jam-packed. Incredible, dude. So you got to do that one day, bro.
Yeah, I'll put that on my
on your list. On your list.
To-do list.
I love it, dude. Dunner, I always loved, dude, whenever we would run our sprints before the season, after opening day, we'd run our sprints, and then the next day, we'd go to run our sprints. In Cincinnati, there's like 10 people, day two, on like because kids are in school and all that stuff. But I remember you used to always go, "Hey, Case, only 161 to go." Oh yeah. And I'd be like, "Wow," because opening day feels like a playoff game. The adrenaline spike is incredible, and then the next day you're like, "All right, we're now in the grind." Dude, one thing about you, bro, that I respected so much, and I think I even respect it more now, looking back at how hard this game is and how hard it is to play 162. Dude, what was your mentality to play 162? Because you did it a bunch, and if it wasn't 162, it sure was close. But I always look to you and go, I know Dunner's playing tonight. I know he's showing up for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was I didn't know any better. Like, I didn't know any better. I mean, when you signed up for 162 games. And I mean, there's no other reason than, I didn't know any better. I didn't want to not play, because that would be embarrassing, because, like we used to talk about all the time is, you didn't get a day off. Bob would make it, try to make it like as a mental day, you'd call it, or whatever. Right. And that would piss me off. I'm like, just tell me I suck. Like, I love you, tell me I suck. I'm killing the team. Opposed to mental. I don't need a mental day, dude. My mental is perfect. Like, I'm good. And then, you guys would call it like Ken would call it a good solid benching, right? I mean, and that's what it was. Like,
that's what Junior would say that to you? This is a good solid benching?
Yeah. He's like, you're not in there because it's good solid benching is what it is. It's not a mental day. It's not an off day, But he's right. Like, that's how we looked at it. And I remember I went to another team. I'm not going to call this kid out, but I went to another team later on, and I'm walking into the locker room, and I'm holding the door open for this kid, and he walks in and he looks at the lineup. He's like, "Gosh." I'm like, "Hey man, what's wrong?" He's like, 20. I think he said 26 or whatever, 20-something straight games. I'm in there, and I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I mean, there's 26 straight games. I've been in there. I'm like, and what's like? I don't understand, dude. Like, you signed up for 100, so I wore him out pretty good. And then, the next day I get a phone call from, let's just say, a higher up, wonder what the problem is. So I knew. Oh yeah, dude, unbelievable. I knew my time was running out. When that happened. Yeah,
sometimes the softness of like, oh, this guy, you can't handle a veteran telling you something, then you got to call daddy.
Yeah. So then I'm like, we're gonna play the tattletale game. I'll play the tattletale. This is why I did it. And this is the kind of guy you want to build your team around?
I love that.
Get him, Tiger.
Go get him, Tiger.
Case, 5-year stretch for you, Adam, where you basically played every game in that 5 years. 46, 40, 40, 40. Oh, I'm sorry. Ribbies every time. Every time.
Yeah. And Dunner, for you, dude, you put up the numbers that you put up, 462 home runs, over 1,000 runs, walks you were always one of the best in the game with the walks. I actually think, your OPS was always very high too. And I think you started to kind of change the way front office looked at guys, saying, okay, Dunner's not hitting for necessarily a high average, but this guy's driving in runs, scoring runs, getting on base every day. I mean, so what was your mentality as a hitter, dude? Like, how did you walk so much? And when you were at your best, were you aggressive? What was your mentality when you were at your best?
Yeah, I mean, I always walked a lot. Like I remember in high school, I would get frustrated because I'd go 2 weeks without swinging the bat.
Wow.
And my dad would get, and I would tell my dad, and my dad would be like, "Can't score if you're not on base." Like, that's so. So at kind of a really young age, I just was very. Looking back, I'd love to be more aggressive. Like if I would have been more aggressive, a lot of things would have happened differently. And but it was just not just wasn't how it was. And so yeah, I mean, wasn't actively trying to go up there walking, but like my plan a lot of times was, I didn't really care who was pitching as much as I did as who was catching. I think I've told you that before. And so I would have a plan on, okay, well, so and so's catching. I know his trends against Prince Fielder and all these big, David and all these big lefties. I'm like, dang. Sometimes they had a huge tail, so I would try to sit on it, sit and wait it out till I got it. And a lot of times it worked, a lot of times it didn't. But no one's ever going to tell me I didn't have a plan going up there. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, dude, I love this. This is great. So, like, the analytics nowadays, there's so many different numbers. And there was analytics when we played, too. Like,
Sure.
We got a packet. And people are like, oh, when you played. I'm like, no. We got so many numbers and data from the advanced scouts. This isn't just happened last week.
Right.
It's just there's more guys in the game now breaking down more numbers.
Yeah.
Like, Dunner, you were always prepared. You always were ready to go. Like I said, playing every night. What were the numbers that you liked? In prep, was it like, hey, this guy's going to throw me first pitch, fastballs when he comes in, or were you looking at the lefty that's going to come out of the pen late to face you? Like, what video were you looking at? Like, what was your prep like besides just the catcher? What numbers were you looking at in the report?
Yeah, I would look at who I'm going to face because I'm not going to face Ruben Quevedo in the 7th inning or 8th inning,
Right.
the game tied, right? It's going to be whoever their best lefty was. So I would really, try to find something. And a lot of them didn't have a tail. Some people like Matt Thornton, like you knew you were going to get a fastball. He's 98%, right? So doesn't mean you're going to hit it. It just means, you have a better chance of getting a fastball than some guys were totally opposite. So, but there was most of the guys had a tail, just not not the guys that the back end guys usually had one pitch that they were going to try to strike you out with, and how they got to it was what you needed to figure out.
Yeah, well, dude, you hit. First off, there's been nobody to this day. Like I watched people hit, and I'm like, everyone always asks me, who was the greatest? Who had the most power you've ever seen? And obviously, playing with Junior's power was ridiculous. It really was. But I'd never seen anybody hit a baseball like you, bro. And especially those two balls that you literally hit out of Great American Ballpark.
Yeah.
John Smoltz changeup and a Jose Lima changeup. Dead center, Chinch, out of the stadium. Like, into the road, into the river. It was like nothing. No one's ever seen that, and no one will ever see that again. I really believe that. No one will ever see that. When you go back to your approach, Dunner, of you were so strong, but you were a good hitter, too. You hit the ball on the line all over the place. Were you looking to drive the ball center field? Like, when you were at your best, was there a left center approach? Was there what was your mindset as far as your approach of where you wanted to hit the baseball?
So I mean, I'm glad we're digging into this because this has always bugged me. So when I first came up, we had a hitting coach that, again, I'm not here to throw people.
I know you're talking about
whatnot, but I've really never failed per se, right? Like I've never, and I never had a prolonged slump, and I never hit under 300. I wasn't a strikeout guy, really. Right. So anyway, working with this guy, kind of went against everything that, I never had a hitting coach growing up. I just saw it and hit it, and so I would take. For instance, there was balls that I would take up middle in, and I would hit them out or hit them to left center. And, I would get not yelled at, but like, hey, you're big and strong. You need to be able to pull that ball to right field for a homer. And I'm like, well, I just hit one dead center, for a homer. Like, what does it matter where it goes? So anyway, we spent a whole year, literally a whole year on doing some things, and it literally, like, you know, and I'm young and trying to appease our big league hitting coach, and you know, it got me away from what got me there, really, and you know, now I could never get that back. I could never, you know, I tried everything to get that feel, that swing, but again, once you go from, like, I wasn't a thinker. Like, I never thought. I just went up there, I saw this white thing, and I was like, okay, well, there it is, hit it. And then all of a sudden, now I'm trying to, you know, okay, the ball's away. I need to hit it to the left, and the ball's middle. I need to hit it to center. So I guess a long-winded answer to your question, but, you know, early on, I didn't think. I was trying to hit that damn thing as hard as I could, and I didn't care where it went. Now, did it go to right? It didn't go to right field very often.
It went to left center. Your first homer you hit, I think it was in Florida, dude. It rattled so fast out to left center.
Yeah.
That's when I was thinking, like, wow, that's more impressive to me than you pulling a ball.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, you know, but again, you're 21 years old and you're getting your big league hitting coach telling you, you know, give me one reason why a big power hitting left-handed hitter needs to hit the ball to left field. And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't know. You're right. Let me catch it out front, hook everything, and be the shitty hitter that I end up being.
No.
So, but I mean, really, like, you know, I just wish I would have listened, because one of our teammates who, again, gave me the advice. He had this guy before, and he gave me the advice of, man, look, be careful. Like,
Yeah.
But again, you're 21. You're trying to tease your big league hitting coach, and or whatever, however I was. It might have been 28. I don't want people going back and looking.
Well, dude, you still obviously had an incredible career. You know, with 460, you almost hit 500 home runs. What you did was incredible. Now, I got a question for you because, dude, you're such a perfect guy to talk to, because one of the things they're teaching nowadays is the numbers say exit velo on the pull side in the air is the way to go. So what they're teaching is, at all these different places, you know, guys that never played the game, they're like saying, okay, pull side in the air. And they're trained, Dunner. They're training pull side in the air. And I've grabbed a couple guys before and I said, listen, I just want to let you know, if you keep training this pull side in the air, your career is going to be over, because you're going to be so susceptible to these guys are the savages. These are the sharks. These sliders, as soon as they see you trying to pull the ball, they're going to throw you 3 sliders and you're going to be out. And it did turn out, you know, these guys couldn't hit, but they're teaching so many guys pull side in the air. And what I believed is, you get the pull side in the air if you can go the other way on the line. Because if you go the other way on the line, that means you have a great bat path. The pull side in the air becomes the hanging slider, the backup changeup, the big curveball. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because you even said, okay, I started to go pull side in the air, but all of a sudden it ruined the great swing that I had coming up when I'm hitting 380.
It did, and I hate, you know, because, again, just by default, I get asked about hitting a lot, right? Now,
and you're a coach. You've been a coach for a long time now, too, working with young kids.
Yeah, and I'm finding myself arguing with this 26-year-old hitting guru in Houston that you know, plays slow pitch softball, is teaching these kids these. Look, man, it might be right, but, like, to me, it doesn't. If it doesn't make sense, it feels stupid. It's stupid. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people, but I mean, if you teach, you know, Juan Pierre the same thing you're going to teach,
right.
You know, whoever, like, that's it's just idiotic.
You teach Anthony Volpe the same thing you're teaching Aaron Judge. It doesn't work. You're teaching Adam Dunn the same thing you're teaching D'Angelo Jimenez or whatever those little guys. It ain't working. Adam Dunn is going to hit the ball in the air, and you're going to go, oh, well, that's 30 rows deep. Anyone else? That's before the warning track, 10 feet before the fence. 2 different animals.
Yeah, but I guess it's the first time I've heard that people are actually trying to teach.
Oh, that's what they're teaching. That's what they're teaching.
I would love to sit down with not some good, like, somebody, and I just want to listen. Like, I want to. Just for me, like, I would love to sit down and explain to me, you know, the reasoning behind it, right? Like there might be an unbelievable, like, I'm the idiot, right? I would love to to have somebody explain it to me, and not like in nerd terms. I'm talking like baseball player, like dude terms. Like, okay, so what do you do if you're hitting this middle end balls where you're supposed to hit them? Cool. What do you do with the dirty changeup on the and you're still trying to hit the right field foul pole? Like what do you do with that pitch?
Yeah, you're done. And one of the things is this: there's so many foods for thought. This is such a great conversation. There's so many food for thoughts here. There's an article that just came out and says, getting the ball out front and in the air is the right way to go. Then there's another article that just came out and said the 3 top hitters that let the ball travel the most. Shohei Ohtani lets the ball travel, hits the ball 3.7 inches beyond the black. Aaron Judge hits it 0.2 inches beyond the black, and Soto hits it 1.1 inches out front. 3 of the greatest players in the game, right? And then there's a lot of other guys that are hitting the ball way out front or whatever. But this is what I think, and I'm interested in your take because you have seen it both ways. I know for me, my thought was let the ball travel, where if I knew I could go to left center with a bullet, then I was a problem for that pitcher because I could handle line to line. And these guys, a lot of guys nowadays are trying to teach the out front hitting. And I think it's more of a feel versus real. That ball's coming in so fast. It's happened, the action's so fast. If you're looking to hit the ball out front all the time, you're going to be an anxious hitter that's going to swing and miss a ton, and you're not going to really see the ball in that late movement. Because and I know, Dunner, in the big leagues, these guys, the reason they are who they are, the ball's moving at like 55 feet. Here comes the cut. Here comes the sink. Here comes the fade on the changeup. Here comes the bite on that late slider. If I'm just hunting out front, like everybody says, hey, get that ball out front. Okay, I'm training my vision to live out there. When you're in the big league level, these balls are moving right when you're making the decision to go out front. So I say careful. Careful teaching all these kids out front, pull side in the air, because you want to be a great hitter, you better let that ball travel so you can make better decisions, swing decisions.
Yeah, and again, this is where I need people to explain to me, like this. My brain works when you tell me hit it out front. Okay, what does that mean? Like, and again, I'm not being an ass. I like, what does that mean? Because to me, if I don't feel what you're talking about, I don't know what that means. Does that mean hit it out in front with my barrel?
Right.
No, that's death. So when people, I think this is where people get screwed up. Like, they might be saying the right thing.
Right.
It's just how people, like me, if you tell me hit the ball out in front, I am immediately thinking arms extended, like out in front. And then I show you, I'm like, no, dude. Like, we want to try to hit it off the
front leg,
front foot.
Right.
So then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's not really out in front. That's kind of, you know what I mean? So
yes.
So it's these stupid ass lingo terms that you go on YouTube and people use, right? It's like, let the ball get deep, let it travel, I get that, but what does that mean to a hitter? Like, what does that mean? Because I know what that meant to me. Man, I let it get deep. Shit, I'm hitting out of the catcher's mitt. Like, heads up, third base coach, right? Like, that's what that meant to me. Like, let it get deep. Okay, well, I think a lot of things, you are hitting the ball in front, but again, like you said, like, by inches.
Yeah.
So that's inches of the plate. I mean, you're still hitting the ball in front with your hands, not your barrel, right?
Right.
Your barrel's not getting out there. It's your hands, and you let the ball get deep on a pitch away, but you're still, for the most part, if you're driving one, I think you're hitting it out in front of, I don't know what out in front means, right? You're out in front of something with your hands.
Yeah.
Your back is still, deep on the plate.
Right. Well, the guys would say that your barrel's getting in front of the plate where it's starting to work up where you can get the ball in the air. And I'm saying I understand that. Like, I get all the numbers. I get it. I get what you're saying. Have you ever been in a big league box where you actually are facing dudes with the stuff that they have? Have you ever been in there? Or are you just looking at these numbers? Because like you said, when I said get it deep, I was thinking, okay, shoot that ball to left center. So deep to me was like, into my body, little back of my front leg. Getting out front to me was a little out front, of my front leg probably. That was getting it deep. But, like, we all see it differently. Your thought, my thought, all sees it differently. So when we're training kids to get it out front and pull side in the air, I think that's dangerous.
It is, because you're one out of 1,000 kids understand what you're talking about, right? We're not talking Aaron Judge, or we're not talking big league. I'm not, at least.
No.
Like, if we're trying to teach those guys how to hit, we're fucked because they're already in the big leagues, bro, and they're the best players on the planet. I'm talking about. Can we cuss on this?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, by the way.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it just fires me up because it's like we're trying to teach these kids, these young kids who hadn't even made a freshman baseball team, the same things, terminology, right? Because we get on YouTube and we tell them, catch it out front, let it get deep, blah, 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 launch angle, blah, all this stupid shit that it's hard to resonate with, they understand out front. Okay, well, show them, teach them. We're teaching them something. We're telling everybody the same thing. You go to any Little League baseball game this weekend in the country, and you're going to hear the exact same lingo.
Right.
They're not teaching them, quit dropping your back shoulder, quit blah, 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 right? They're not telling them why, right? They're just saying shit that they saw and heard on YouTube. So,
right.
That's the dangerous part. I'm with you. Like, it's just, dude, it's an opinion. And
no one, I think a big reason that you were such a power hitter, dude, and you hit the ball so far, obviously, other than you put me in the chokehold in wrestling every day before the game, like you might kill me right now. But that's a whole side note. I was like, this guy's one of the strongest human beings ever laid hands on me. But dude, you could backspin a ball, bro. It was incredible. You could, when you hit the ball, it was like boom, gone, and it was like backspin out. It was almost like you were hitting a golf ball. What your approach to the ball? And I want to talk about you as a coach, dude. You've been coaching now for 12, 13 years. At the Marucci place and all these, some of the best players in the country out there in Houston. What are you teaching these kids about as far as like backspinning a baseball? Are you teaching getting on top of the ball? What do you teach when you're talking hitting with these guys?
Yeah, and when I talk hitting with them, because again, I try to individualize every single one of them, right? And I don't try to find something because I'm not a lesson giver, right? Like I'm not out there. Well, I need you to come back. So if there's nothing, again, just my opinion, if I don't see or feel or you're having success, I ain't dicking with it.
Right.
Like, hey, keep doing it, brother. Keep doing it until you fail. Because you know what? You might not ever fail. Yeah. Right? You might not ever fail. And I know that feeling. Like I know that feeling of like, I can't make you happy? Like I'm just doing all this and now
why are you talking to me?
What are we doing here? Like, beat it, Yeah. But so but when I do, it is. It's you have to drive me nuts. Like you have to point A to point B, right? You have to hit down to get to the ball, right? The quickest there is. I don't care what anybody says. If your bat barrel is dropping, right? I don't know how that can be this most effective, simplest way to do it. Like I would want to go from point A to point B as fast as I can. Now I think with contact, you're up through it now. Now you're up through it, right? But I mean, you to start your swing back here at the catcher's mitt, it doesn't make sense to me. But again, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I need somebody who it's not their opinion, and I don't want to see biometric numbers and how your glutes work. I don't give a shit about that. Like I want baseball people telling me this is the way, this is why. Yeah. And then maybe I'll come around.
Well, I love it, dude. I love the fact that you're able to take your wisdom, take your knowledge, take your ups and your downs in the game and deliver it to these kids, this next generation of kids, getting it from a guy that hit 462 home runs, that hit some of the furthest balls ever, that was a really good hitter too, that you're able to, impact these kids, which is incredible. But dude, today's opening day, obviously, man, you're one of the greatest opening day hitters of all time. That's just the way it goes. 8 home runs, 21 RBIs on opening day. I witnessed it firsthand. But Dunner, you're also the first guest ever on the Mayor's Office podcast, which we are so grateful for.
I think that means more. That literally means that's probably the second or third most, epic thing that's happened to me in my career that I hold. Because you can't ever take that back. You might have cooler guests, you might have younger, but there's only one first, brother. You remember your first, big guy.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it, dude.
That's
Foley
right.
will be our first guest forever.
Forever.
We'll be,
Take me
I'm
there.
done, baby, and I'm so grateful for that, dude. Bro, I'm grateful for you. I love you so much, dude. I appreciate you taking the time to come on with us today, man. And we're gonna do it again. You'll be on for the third time here really soon. But
I'm ready, brother.
appreciate you, brother. You're
Love
the
you
best.
guys.
See you, buddy.
See you, man.